Hello and welcome to the commentary track, brought to you by the Posse. I'm pokecapn.
I'm Kung Fu Jesus.
This is medibot.
And my name is Kaz.
And we're just some guys on the internet. We talk about video games.
Yeah, it kind of throws me off a little bit, because ordinarily we're the ones playing the video games and talking about ourselves playing the video games, as exciting as that sounds, but now it's you. You're the one playing the game.
So we have to predict what you're going to do, and, well...
Which I thankfully can do with my voodoo powers.
Well, that's good.
Right, you get this real sense of detachment from what you're talking about, almost as if someone was, sucking the soul out of you.
I don't get that feeling.
A lot of really
actually.
exotic skulls.
I think I would
lying
notice if
around.
my soul was being sucked. I often do.
One with a mustache, one green one off in the
Wait, did the
distance.
bats have mustaches?
I'm pretty sure everything has a mustache.
It is the Wild West.
Those knives, they've got mustaches.
Wild mustaches.
This taco brought to you by the Taco Growers of America.
We grow tacos, so you don't have to.
Delicious.
Wall made of skull blocks.
Mr. Gunstringer, shoot down this wall.
That one too.
Really do the same thing to all of them.
Basically, if there's something in your way, just shoot it. It's he can't just
Or
go
run by.
He can't just go around the wall because there's a head there.
The middle of nowhere, barren wasteland. Heads will roll at this location.
And this location too.
Well, we're in the same location.
I see.
Oh, there's nothing inside of them.
No,
This taco
Completely
brought to you
empty.
by the Taco Council.
Governing over tacos for your
Disembodied
convenience.
skeletal hands handing you tacos. The Taco Council.
so they are the skeleton hands, the ones growing the tacos. Yeah.
Yes.
They tried planting it with regular hands, but turned out kind of rancid.
A taco hand plant. I think I did one of those by accident once.
How many points was it worth?
Oh, 350.
Did you see that sweet movie you just did there? The
Flip over
there?
the gravestone.
Most cover shooters, you don't really do a crazy flip like that. I mean, he could have just, stepped out from. Oh, the action roll! Come on!
The roll is a necessary part. You have to
Well,
roll.
see, I have a theory about this graveyard and the action roll. Now, it'll probably seem crazy.
I don't know, but we're getting out of here. And we've actually got lined up with us a developer from Twisted Pixel. He works at the lesser-known Japanese studio of Twisted Pixel, and his name is Uroto Tsukidoji-san. And we did an interview with him earlier and translated his responses. So we're going to go right into this developer commentary. We like to call it Ask Uroto. In another interview, you said it is like one of the instant classics talking about the Gunstringer. Would you like to elaborate on that?
I think time will bear that out more than anything. Look back in 10 or 20 years, and this will be one of the pillars of game development.
This next question comes from a recent online chat. Which of your toys do you keep at the office? Not to play with, really, but a toy as a status symbol.
It sounds like that person knows me very well. I actually collect old toys and rotate them in and out of my office. I keep them as a thought focus, something to reflect on.
Look at those huge spiders. We're clearly on the suburbs of Spider Town out here. Who left all these huge spiders here? We must be nearing the
You
suburbs.
don't just
of
leave
Spider
spiders
Town.
around; they leave themselves. It's they're very willful, especially when they get that big. Although,
Do they usually split apart like that?
no, well, yes, but they usually split into way more spiders, hundreds, thousands, billions.
billions of spiders.
Each with its own will to
Its
kill.
own hopes and dreams.
Plopped in the middle of a desert with sand everywhere.
Sand? In a video game, I hate that. All video games that have sand in them is the worst segment, where you have sand and it changes how your movement goes and you're in the sand and it gets you.
What if, though, like in a game such as the Gunstringer, you don't have changed game mechanics?
Well, then it's not really sand. It's like, it's sand by another name, which smells as sand.
Well, it seems like we're getting pretty close to Spider Town proper now. You can see it up there in the distance.
So what? Oh yeah.
The bats are exploding into feathers? Hold on, bats don't have feathers.
Sure they do. How else
It's
would
an
they fly?
illusion! It's not an illusion. You have
How
to get rid of
else
the
would
bat.
they fly?
With their wings?
And what are wings made of?
Bones?
No.
Feathers.
There you go.
Fatty tissue?
Look, I'm a botanist. Just work with me,
Oh,
here, okay?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I guess
challenge
if
your
it makes sense if you don't
qualifications.
think about it. Check it out, he's throwing up the horns, or perhaps giving the skeletal stinger.
Who's he? How do you know it's a he?
It,
It could be a she skeleton.
no, well, skeletons are male or female. We all have bones.
Indeed.
And we're going to resume our interview with Uroto-san here. Have you had a better experience working on games for kids or for adults?
I don't feel the rating that a game gets at the end of the day makes a big difference in my own experiences. The best games, of course, even the playing field.
This game is one that shows the modern trend of giving games more dark-feeling plots. Is this going to continue?
Gamers do not crave any one thing for very long. There are no ups and downs as much as a circular pendulum spiraling around and through certain core concepts, moving back and forth around some ideas or others that you may think we discarded. I, for one, have not forgotten where we have been and will make sure we come back again and again to preserve the mental space.
Who came up with the codename The Demon's Eye used for your project?
I can't remember exactly where the name came from. On our end, the Gunstringer's remaining eye played a larger role in the narrative than it does now. I consider it a favorable change, and I'm saving some of the ideas for later projects.
By the power of Blue Skull, you have obtained a sword.
Not another sword section.
The technical term for that is hilting.
I'm sorry.
Well, he's hilting these guys pretty well.
Ah, that's enough. Come on, guys.
Well, I wonder
Come
how
on.
does it work so well?
Paper beats scissors, paper.
But no, the sword is paper.
Right, but it's also a sword and scissors, paper
It's an
beats
edge.
paper.
It has a blade on it, like scissors do. Scissors, paper.
No, I think
The
I
relationship
follow.
here is well known. I'm sure.
All right, well, why does it have to be zombies then? That the player is mowing down heartlessly in this whole section.
Why would anyone be bothered by that?
Zombie killing is an American pastime.
Oh, you injure me, sir, and you, sir,
Actually,
as
we're
well.
injuring the zombies.
No, I can barely stand to watch this. I am holding back so much bile, you don't even understand. As the sole zombie rights activist in the entire world that I know of, I have nothing but uphill battles like this one, where we're just teaching our children to hate and fear zombies.
So what should we teach them? To love the things that will tear your brains out?
No, we should teach them that zombies are also people. I want to give zombies the vote.
They don't have brains.
That is outrageous, sir.
Yeah, neither do a lot of voters.
Differently outrageous, but I'll allow it. The point is, it doesn't matter if you're alive or dead. You should have the same rights. I don't see any deathist attitude or lifist attitude as being favorable to the advancement of politics in this or any other nation.
Night falls in Spider Town.
It's not night, it's dark daytime.
Well, it would be if this were a crappy cowboy movie, but it's actually a pretty good one, so they have a real spotlight there.
Oh.
Actual night.
And they actually turn the lights off.
Yeah.
Set. How about that?
You can still see what's happening.
They also do that in kung fu movies. You know, all you have to do, I've done this too. You just take your camera and you take your sunglasses off and you put them over the lens and you just film. It's the same thing. Slightly darker.
I'd have a more favorable humor about that if I weren't so confronted by this current atrocity.
What, the zombies again? You still on this?
I am! I'm not gonna ever be off it. Not until I can take my zombie brothers to the polling booths with me, and they can also...
Your brothers are zombies? I met one of them. He didn't seem... Oh.
Yeah, it's zombie brothers. We're all
All I can
brothers
say
in spirit.
is that shotgun would have made a space marine jealous.
These are the guns of the muchachos.
And we...
Doing this crazy pelvic thrust flight towards you.
That's
Do
how
most
zombies
zombies do
fly.
that?
Yes, actually.
You know, I've seen plenty of living humans do pelvic thrusts.
But
Yeah,
can
but-
they fly?
Yeah. Do they fly?
I think
Do they?
their
Huh?
brains weigh them down too much. But since zombies don't have any, well,
Since they're dumb as a pound of bricks.
I will be weeping before this is over. I am nearly in tears.
let me just say
can't even...
that men and skeletons are entitled to the sweat of their brow,
How
but
do
zombies
I-
don't sweat,
how
so
do
they're
I
entitled to
even-
nothing.
How do I even begin to undo the years, the eons of prejudice that have gone into this?
We start with these spiders.
Yeah, they're not undead.
Well, I'm
No
not
one likes
asking.
spiders.
I'm not asking for their votes or anything.
What, you saying spiders can't vote either?
What do you mean either? I'm saying they can't, and zombies should.
What's wrong with
It's
spiders?
a clear division. No, I mean zombies were human, and indeed, what I'm arguing.
What about paper zombies?
Continually, they still are. They are paper humans.
What if a person gets turned into a spider?
If a person gets turned into a spider, they're a spider. What is hard about this?
What
I
if a
see
person
everything-
gets turned into a zombie?
I see everything is black and white. If they're not turned into a zombie. They were alive, now not alive, but
They were-
active, so still have rights.
They were a person, now not a person, a spider.
What? Like it's not like you go to France and then become French.
That's how I became French.
Anecdotal evidence proves otherwise.
Pick yourself up. Go on. And get down with your bony self. Way down.
Way, way down.
It began with a fall. Fall led to winter, winter to spring, spring to an early fall again, before finally hitting summer. And then fall.
I love fall. It's my favorite season.
You know, it's kind of odd that you're falling faster than these heads.
Well, they're empty.
They are empty. They're not
point.
really made of much.
Oh, right, so they're lighter.
Yes. Check out that lovingly crafted staghorn knife handle.
Is that real staghorn?
Yes, real, genuine staghorn. You get that for about $20. Down a little.
Sure, for the handle alone.
Yeah, for the handle.
But
well,
this is the whole knife? Man.
$20 is a bargain. I'm willing to offer you the whole knife for 20.
Wow, that is hard.
There
to
are
pass
conditions
up.
which I don't want to name until you buy them.
Wait, hold on. This time there are skulls.
Yes.
Skulls are bones, you're bones, so why are you still falling faster than
And
them?
you've got a poncho on.
Okay.
Oh, the poncho's
Also,
weighing
the
you down.
skull is the lightest bone in the body.
Oh, and you do have more. You are a whole skeleton,
Right, you have other heavier bones.
indeed.
I see.
I thought the lightest bone was the hyoid foramen.
No, although that is a common misconception.
I was misconcepted.
Did it
With
hurt?
your
Just
bones?
about the bone.
No, I think you mean misconceived.
No, I don't actually. I was perfectly well conceived. Thank you very much.
If you say so.
We have alighted finally upon the heavy flow zone layer of hell.
Here it's been depleting a lot over the last few decades.
That's what the liberals want you to think.
We at least have arrived in meat space.
Ugh, meat space.
Meat space.
Last time I thought about meat space, I got the meat sweats.
Oh, man.
Those smell awful, by the way.
I love your man! I loved your movies! The Tooth Fairy were made of bones, which she has.
Man, gotta be careful around those hipsters.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Such persistent questions.
Crazy. So these are actually the same voodoo dolls you killed earlier in the graveyard. They just got sent here. That's, you know.
When do they get sent after this?
That's a very good question.
Felicidades!
Can you read this all out?
What's your accent from?
The thing about those skeletons, they've got a ton of was it hexes, curses? What is it? They, a ton of those voodoo pins in them. But have they been hexed?
Well,
have they been cursed or what?
They've been hexed if they have precisely 6 of them in them.
Oh yeah.
And then otherwise it's cursed.
I think it's cursed though, like by default. First of all, because of the aforementioned discrepancy in number of pins. Secondly, because they're from Voodoo Island or whatever, and hexes are only from Europe.
Kind of a witchy kind of thing.
Yes.
What you're saying?
Yes.
Witchy versus witch doctor.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying.
Let's see.
Oh,
I am a little confused. We're in like some sort of
meat space.
meat space, right?
Not some
is-
sort of the.
It is
Now-
the meat space.
The meat space. All right, and the ground seems to be made mixedly of stone and meat.
Correct.
The stone is to grind the meat into ground meat.
Okay, okay.
Oh my god! Does this spectral form make me look fat?
So I'm wondering, why are there trees?
Oh, those are meat trees.
What are meat trees?
Well, if you let meat sit out too long, meat trees will begin to form on the surface of the meat.
Now, true story, I did leave a pot of chili.
Would you like to save money on drywall?
Do you know anyone from Oasis? I left a pot of chili out, beef and bison chili, for about 6 months. It grew some crazy colors and stuff, but it did not grow any trees in it. Can you explain this phenomenon? Or lack of phenomenon?
Where were you keeping it?
In my kitchen?
Your kitchen.
Just straight up, on the stove.
Well, it could be that you didn't have enough meat, or that the trees were growing, but since you had such a small sample of meat, the trees themselves were scaled down accordingly.
It could also have been lumberjack ants.
Interesting proposition. They could have taken the liberty of...
devouring the trees as quickly as they grow.
It's also entirely possible that your chili just wasn't deep enough. Because this is meat from hell. This is meat space from hell.
Oh, you're right.
It's a very deep meat.
So, you have farmer ants who milk aphids or,
Cows.
cowbugs.
I'm sure they do something.
Well, yes, I'm also sure that they do something. Milking.
Okay. Do we have other artisan ants? The
certainly. Got all kinds of
the artesian ant case, must have...
Carpenter ants, masonry ants.
Gourmet bread slicing ants.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday,
How old am I?
everyone.
I'm 12, and what is this?
It was not by my hand that I am once again given flesh. I was brought here by a human who wished to play with the Kinect.
Alright, kids. Now that you're playing, you might want to get your little brother or little sister, get them in the room, tell them to stand in front of the TV.
Yeah, they're going to
and
stand in for your ugly, fleshy self that you have to beat up.
Just,
Boy, were
just
you
have
ugly.
them watch you play the game.
Yeah, watch you. No, don't watch. No, watch
just
the
have
game
them
as you play it.
Stand here and watch.
Whatever they do, tell them not to take their eyes off the TV. All right.
Well, if you're skeleton and he's you, then he's you, but
Without the skeleton.
without the skeleton.
Yes, without the skeleton.
Muscles. You must really work out. Those muscles are supporting you entirely without skeletons.
Right in the latissimus dorsi.
Ah, right in the superior radicular labyrinth. It'll be down for the count.
Cast in the name of God, ye not meaty.
What are you talking about? We're plenty meaty. Look at all this.
And it's rippling in the wind.
It's not you that's meaty. It's the whole environment. It's whole meat space that's meaty.
Okay, fair enough, but how is there wind?
There's meat wind. Think about it. It's made of meat. Invisible meat that is like air, but it's just meat.
Invisible
Dark meat. It's like dark matter, but much tastier.
Oh, it's amazing.
But
I love
this
dark
meat wind is actually what's allowing that carriage to fly. You just look at it soar majestically through the skies of meat space.
That's really improbable.
And impossible.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another one of the themes about the Gunstringer. Other than revenge, there's impossible vehicles doing improbable things.
For your entertainment!
It just does it because it can, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to have a ground. It's just obliging. It could fly straight up into the sky. You'd never catch it.
So
you're saying it's just-
demon
Oh,
babies.
Wow, speaking of flying straight up, they just came right up in there.
Oh my, this is bringing back really bad memories of a part-time job I had once.
What did you have to do?
Well, look, it involved fire-breathing demon babies, and all I want to say is it'll never come out of your jacket.
What were they doing in your jacket?
What was doing in your jacket?
The fire or the babies?
Or the breathing?
Look, it'll never come out of your jacket.
I usually wear my breathing jacket when I'm breathing.
I don't need to wear anything particular when I'm breathing, so...
There's a right way and a wrong way to do things, Kung Fu Jeans.
I often do things the wrong way. Never let it be said that I do it the right way.
You're back.
They never
I
left.
can remember the crying and the coughing, and then that other thing they did that wouldn't come out of my jacket.
Man, enough fire and this marionette would be toast.
You know, I married Annette once.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, it turned out well. She was a hottie, but kind of a, pyro. It left all of my worldly possessions in flames. Then she
Ouch.
left me to become a pyrotechnician for the local diner.
Why would a local diner need a parent?
I'm not going to give away the secret recipe. I owe her that much, at least.
Ooh, we'll have to visit someday.
You write down the recipe? Because it's a
No,
secret. They
but-
don't have to know, but we can...
No, but you can go to Annette's.
Okay.
The majestic taco, cleverly hidden, quickly gone.
Like all tacos, actually.
What, cleverly hidden?
Yes, cleverly hidden and quickly gone. At least when I'm around.
Num 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 num.
You know, I sarcophed the guy. I liked it.
Blah.
You don't say that.
You guys are being extra gross this episode.
not as
It
gross
just
as
comes
this
with the meat
stage.
space.
Oh, man, I can barely stomach it already.
Speaking of stomachs, we've got our last couple of questions with our Japanese Twisted Pixel developer, Uroto Sukidoji-san. We're going to go ahead and finish up the interview. What idea is born of this project do you plan on using in the future?
Naturally, I have to keep those a secret. Except I can say that in the future I will keep a scroll case with me with large scrolls of soft paper in them. We use computers for so much nowadays, and I found it a great outlet for my ideas, as well as a stylish addition to my wardrobe.
We're almost up on the clock. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Just to say that this game exemplifies my vision for storytelling in games. I really want to encourage players to think about the space that the game occupies as outside of themselves and outside the game. Also, of course, to say that none of this would have been possible without my personal contribution.
The Majestic Grizzly.
We are now knee-deep in the Day of the Dead.
Finally, a boss fight. Wait a minute. Are we fighting the Lord of the Dead or the Lady of the Dead?
Isn't it the Lordess of the Dead?
No. To make the feminine of an or sound, you have to do tricks.
Why do you say that?
Well, because, you have aviator, and that becomes aviatrix.
Okay.
You have tormentor, that becomes trixmentrix. Tornado becomes trixnado. So Lord becomes latrixted. She is
So-
the latrixt of the dead.
Latrix of the Dead.
Yes.
Alright.
And there is propriety even in meat space. A title is a title.
It's nice to see that Twisted Pixel, lampshaded those tropes of most cowboy games.
And revenge games, actually, simultaneously.
This combines two of my greatest fears: old ladies and old ladies who make lamps.
And old ladies who are lamps. Or is that not a fear yet?
Well, that would make three. Three of my greatest fears. Two of my greatest fears.
Ouch, right in the Omnium Cheoptigrix.
That is a real bow.
You can count on it.
Yes, you can. So after all that flinging around, I wonder. We have, humans have chiropractors when our backs get messed up. Do puppets have a similar occupation for when their strings get tangled? Because I find that untangling...
Restringers?
Yeah,
like
sure.
professional restringers.
Professional
that untangle your
would,
puppet.
You would think that there'd be professional untanglers, but you'd be wrong. Because what you can just do is cut the strings, restring your puppet, and you're good to go. There's no human equivalent for that.
Sure there is. The chiropractor just cuts you open and takes your skeleton out.
Hold on. That's no medicine I've heard of.
That doesn't happen.
Apparently you don't know a very good chiropractor.
Very good or very evil? Because, I don't know. Maybe you haven't got the right perspective on this.
He tricked her with a wooden gun!
He tricked her with a wooden gun.
Tricked. You got it.
It is like one of your toys, but a toy for adults. This darling is the Zai Born Clock.